Hey there. Tonight, our journey takes us into a world that is often misunderstood, a landscape seen by outsiders as a place of stagnant water, of hidden dangers, and of impenetrable mystery. We are traveling to the great wetlands of the American Southeast, to the cypress domes, the river of grass, and the hammock islands that were home to a remarkable and resilient people. We are going to live for a time within a Native American clan of the southeastern swamps. We will leave behind the dry plains and the cold mountains to immerse ourselves in a world that is perpetually wet, intensely alive, and governed by the rhythms of sun and water. This is a story about a people, perhaps the ancestors of the Seminole and Miccosukee, who did not just survive in the swamp, but made it their fortress, their pantry, and their sacred home. This is a life lived on the water's edge. It's a story of dugout canoes gliding silently through blackwater channels, of homes built on stilts with roofs of palm thatch, of a diet of deer, turtle, and the starchy, poisonous root of the kunti plant. It's a world where the bellow of an alligator is a familiar lullaby, and the drone of mosquitoes is the constant music of the air. If this kind of slow, detailed, and immersive history helps you to quiet your mind and find a measure of peace, I would be grateful if you'd like the video and subscribe to the channel, but only if you genuinely find some rest in these stories. And as always, I love to see our global community gathering. Please, feel free to leave a comment with your location and what time it is for you. There's a unique comfort in knowing we are all settling in together. So, dim your lights. Turn on a fan for that soft, ambient hum if you find it soothing. Get comfortable, and let's pole our canoe deep into the heart of the great swamp, into a world of profound beauty, subtle danger, and incredible human ingenuity. Part 1. The dry season. The time of cool sun. You awaken not to a sound, but to a quality of light, a soft, pearlescent, opalescent light that filters through the dense, humid air of the morning, painting the world in shades of grey and silver. The air is cool, but it is a heavy, damp coolness, a coolness that feels like a wet blanket on your skin. Your home is not a structure of earth or stone, but of air and leaves. You live in a chickee, a home perfectly adapted to this subtropical world. It is an open-sided structure, a sturdy wooden platform raised several feet off the damp ground. The roof is a thick, expertly layered thatch of palmetto fronds, so tightly woven that it sheds the heaviest of rains. There are no walls. The gentle morning breeze, carrying the smells of the swamp, moves freely through your home. You are lying on a sleeping platform, on a mat woven from soft grasses. Your blanket is a thin deerskin, all you need in this mild winter. You are surrounded by the sounds of your family, their breathing, a soft, rhythmic counterpoint to the great, breathing world outside. Your village is not built on a wide plain or in a deep canyon. It is built on a hammock, a small teardrop-shaped island of slightly higher ground that rises just a few feet above the surrounding wetlands. This hammock is a dense, jungle-like world of its own, covered in great live oaks, hickory trees, and the ever-present sabal palm. Your small cluster of chickees is nestled under the protective canopy of these trees. As you awaken, the sounds of the swamp awaken with you. It is not a quiet place. It is a world of incredible, vibrant, and constant sound. You hear the deep, guttural, and strangely resonant bellow of a large bull alligator, claiming his territory in a nearby waterway. You hear the sharp, piercing cry of an osprey, the fish hawk, as it circles overhead. You hear the chatter of squirrels in the oak trees, the rustle of an unseen armadillo in the underbrush. And underneath it all there is the constant, low-level, and ever-present hum of millions of insects. You rise and step down from your sleeping platform onto the solid, sandy earth of the hammock. You walk to the edge of the island. Before you lies the great, watery wilderness that is your world. It is a vast sawgrass prairie, a river of grass that stretches to the horizon, dotted with small islands of cypress trees, their feathery leaves and knobby knees rising from the shallow, tea-coloured water. The water is a mirror, reflecting the soft pastel colours of the dawn sky. A thin layer of white mist hangs over the water, giving the world a ghostly, dreamlike quality. A great white egret, its neck, a graceful S-curve, stands motionless in the shallows, hunting for its breakfast. A turtle suns itself on a floating log. The world is beautiful, it is peaceful, and it is teeming with life. This is the dry season, the winter of the subtropics. It is a time of relative ease and comfort. The rains have stopped. The water levels in the swamp are at their lowest. The plague of mosquitoes has subsided, and the temperatures are mild and pleasant. It is a time for hunting, for gathering, for tending your small gardens, for preparing for the long, hot and difficult wet season to come. You take a deep breath of the cool, humid morning air. It smells of damp earth, of decaying leaves, of water, of life. This is your home. This is your world, and the day's work is about to begin. For the peoples of the northern forests, the cedar is the tree of life. For the peoples of the eastern woodlands, it is the birch. But for you, the people of the southern swamps, your life-giving tree is the sable palm. This unassuming, hardy and ubiquitous tree is the foundation of your material world. It is your grocery store, your hardware store, your pharmacy, and your relationship with it is one of deep respect and ingenious use. The work of the morning might begin with the gathering of palm fronds. The women of your clan will go to the edge of the hammock, to the great stands of sable palms. They will use a long pole with a knife attached to the end to cut the green fronds from the top of the trees. These fronds are a primary building material. They are the roofing tiles of your world. They are brought back to the village and laid out to dry. Then they are woven, with incredible skill and precision, into the thick, waterproof thatch that covers the roof of your chickee. A well-thatched roof can last for years, providing a perfect shelter from both the sun and the torrential rains of the wet season. The fronds are also used for basketry. They are split into fine, strong fibers and woven into a variety of useful containers, carrying baskets, storage baskets, winnowing trays for your corn. But the palm provides more than just shelter and containers. It provides food. The very heart of the sable palm, the tender, white growing bud at the very top of the tree, is edible. It is your swamp cabbage. The harvesting of the heart of palm is a difficult and destructive act. To get to the heart, you must kill the tree. So, it is not done lightly. It is done only when a new clearing is needed for a garden, or when a tree has been damaged by lightning. The men will fell the palm tree. They will chop through the tough, fibrous trunk with their stone or shell axes. Once the tree is down, they will cut away the top section and, with great care, they will extract the heart. It is a large, white, cylindrical bud, crisp and tender. The heart of palm is a great delicacy. It can be eaten raw, and it has a sweet, nutty flavour, or it can be roasted in the coals of the fire or boiled in a stew. It is a welcome and nutritious addition to your diet. The palm tree also provides a different kind of food. The cabbage tree worm, the large, fat, white grub of a beetle that bores into the trunk of the palm. To an outsider, it would be a disgusting thing. But to you, it is a rich source of protein and fat. The children will search for infested trees, and they will dig the grubs out with a pointed stick. Roasted over the fire, they are a delicious, nutty treat. And the tree is also a source of medicine. The berries of the saw palmetto, a related, low-growing palm, are a powerful medicine, used to treat a variety of ailments. Your knowledge of the palm tree is encyclopedic. You know every part of it, every use. You know how to read its health, how to harvest its gifts sustainably. As you look at the great, fan-shaped leaves of the sable palms that form the canopy of your village, you see more than just trees. You see your home. You see your tools. You see your food. You see a generous and benevolent spirit that provides for you. The palm is the quiet, humble, and absolutely essential pillar that supports your entire world. The dry season is the primary hunting season. The lower water levels in the swamp concentrate the animals in predictable locations, and the cooler, drier weather makes travel through the surrounding pine, flatwoods, and prairies easier. The hunt is the primary work of the men during this time, and it is a pursuit that requires great skill, stealth, and a deep, intimate knowledge of the animal world. Your most important prey is the white-tailed deer. The deer of the southern swamps are smaller and more elusive than their northern cousins. Hunting them is a challenge. You do not hunt with a rifle. You hunt with a bow and arrow, or perhaps with a new and powerful weapon that your people have learned of from your northern neighbours, the blowgun. The blowgun is a long, hollowed-out piece of river cane. The darts are made of slivers of wood or bone, fletched with the soft, downy fluff of the thistle. The tip of the dart is often coated with a poison made from the venom of a snake or the sap of a poisonous plant. The blowgun is a silent and deadly weapon, perfect for hunting in the dense undergrowth of the hammock. The hunt is a solitary or small group affair. You will leave the village at dawn, your body painted with mud for camouflage, your movements as silent as a shadow. You are not just looking for a deer, you are looking for its story. You read the tracks in the damp earth. You see where it has browsed on the leaves of a bush. You find where it has bedded down for the night. You are piecing together the narrative of its life, trying to predict where it will go next. You might spend the entire day moving slowly and silently through the forest, your senses on high alert, and you might see nothing. The hunt is a lesson in patience, in humility. But when you do get a chance, when a deer steps into a clearing, you must act with a swift and deadly precision. Your arrow or your dart must fly true. A poorly aimed shot will only wound the animal and allow it to escape, a great and shameful waste. A successful deer hunt is a cause for celebration. The meat will be shared among your clan, and the hide is a precious resource. The women will tan it, using the deer's own brain, to create the soft, supple buckskin that is the primary material for your clothing, your breechcloths, your leggings, your shirts. But the deer is not the only animal you hunt. The swamp is full of life. You hunt the wild turkey, the black bear, for its meat and its fat, the raccoon, the opossum. And you hunt the great reptile that is the king of this watery world, the alligator. Hunting an alligator is a dangerous and terrifying undertaking. It requires great courage and a specialized set of skills. You will hunt from your dugout canoe in the dark of night. You will use a torch to spot the alligator's eyes, which glow red in the firelight. You will approach silently. Your weapon is a long, heavy spear with a detachable point that is connected to a strong cord. You will strike the alligator in the back of the neck, a difficult and dangerous shot. The great beast will explode into a frenzy of thrashing, rolling violence. You must hold on to the cord, playing the alligator as a fisherman plays a great fish, until it is exhausted. The alligator is a treasure trove. Its meat is white and delicious. Its hide is tough and waterproof, and the fat from its tail is a valuable oil, used for cooking and as a mosquito repellent. The work of the dry time is not confined to hunting. You also tend your small gardens. On the high, fertile ground of the hammock, you cultivate the three sister scorn, beans and squash. These are not your primary staple foods, as they are for the peoples of the north, but they are an important and welcome supplement to your diet of hunted and gathered foods. The dry season is a time of productive and varied labor. You are a hunter, a farmer, a fisherman, a gatherer. You are a master of a dozen different skills, a person with a deep and practical knowledge of every facet of your rich and complex world. And the work you do now, the food you gather and grow, is the foundation upon which your survival through the coming wet season will be built. Of all the plants in your world, there is one that is both a great gift and a deadly threat. It is the coontie, a low-growing, fern-like cycad that grows in the sandy pine flatwoods on the edge of the swamp. The root of the coontie is a massive, starchy tuber, a great underground reservoir of carbohydrates. It is one of the most important staple foods of your people. But in its raw state, it is also a deadly poison. The coontie root is filled with a potent neurotoxin that can cause paralysis and death. The great, secret knowledge of your people, a knowledge that is the key to your survival, is how to unlock the food from the poison. The processing of the coontie root is a long, laborious, and sacred undertaking. The work begins with the gathering. A large communal party will travel to the coontie grounds. The work of digging up the great, heavy roots is hard, physical labor, performed by the men. The roots are then brought back to the village, where the women take over. The process of detoxification begins. First, the rough, outer skin of the root is scraped away. Then, the starchy, white interior of the root must be grated into a pulp. This is done by hand, on a grating board, a wooden plank that has been embedded with the sharp teeth of the garfish or the shark. The women will spend hours rubbing the hard roots against this rough surface, their knuckles raw and bleeding. The resulting pulp is then placed in a large, porous basket. And now, the most critical stage begins, the leaching. The basket of coontie pulp is placed in a running stream, or water is poured over it continuously for several hours. The water flows through the pulp, dissolving the water-soluble poison and carrying it away. But this is not enough. A second, more stubborn poison remains. To remove it, the leached pulp must be allowed to ferment. The pulp is placed in a large, clay-lined pit. It is covered and left to sit for several days. A complex microbial process of fermentation takes place, a process that breaks down the remaining toxins. How do your people know when the process is complete, when the food is safe to eat? They do not have a laboratory. They have a more sensitive and a more courageous instrument, the human body. An elder, a person with a great deal of experience and a certain stoic courage, will be the first to taste a small amount of the fermented pulp. If it causes no ill effects, the batch is declared safe. The finished kunti pulp is then dried and pounded into a fine white flour. This flour is a precious commodity. It is your primary source of starch. It can be baked into a dense, unleavened bread. It can be used to thicken your stews, or it can be mixed with water to create a kind of porridge. The processing of the kunti root is a perfect example of the incredible, sophisticated, and often invisible knowledge of your people. It is a form of folk chemistry, of advanced food science, that was developed over thousands of years of patient observation and courageous experimentation. Without this knowledge, the great abundance of the kunti plant would be a deadly temptation. But with this knowledge, you are able to transform a deadly poison into the bread of life. It is a powerful reminder that in your world, survival depends not just on strength or on hard work, but on wisdom, on tradition, and on the quiet, patient, and courageous genius of your ancestors. You live in a world that is more water than land. Your home is an island in a great grassy river. Your hunting grounds are the intricate blackwater channels of the cypress swamp. Your highways are the broad, open lagoons and the coastal waterways. To be without a canoe in this world is to be a prisoner on your own small patch of land. The dugout canoe is not a luxury, it is a necessity. It is your legs, your horse, your wagon. It is your lifeline. The creation of a dugout canoe is a major undertaking, a work of great skill and labor performed by the men of the village. The process begins with the selection of a tree. The preferred tree is the cypress, a magnificent and rot-resistant giant of the swamp. A large, straight and healthy cypress tree is chosen. And, as with all things taken from the natural world, a ceremony is performed. Prayers are offered to the spirit of the tree. Its permission is asked. Its sacrifice is honored. The felling of the great tree is done with a combination of stone axes and fire. It is a long, slow and dangerous process. Once the tree is down, the log is trimmed, and the shaping of the canoe begins. The primary tool is fire. A small, controlled fire is built along the top of the log. It is allowed to burn down into the wood, charring it, hollowing it out. The men will then use their stone or shell adzes to scrape away the charred wood. This process is repeated over and over again. Burn, scrape, burn, scrape. It is a slow, patient, and incredibly skillful process of subtraction. The canoe maker is not building a boat. He is revealing the boat that is already hidden inside the log. He must be a master of his craft. He must control the fire with great precision, so that it does not burn through the hull. He must constantly measure the thickness of the wood, ensuring that the walls of the canoe are of a uniform and perfect thickness. After weeks, sometimes months, of this work, the canoe is hollowed out. The inside and the outside are then scraped smooth. The bow and the stern are shaped for speed and for stability. The result is a magnificent vessel. A large dugout canoe can be over 30 feet long. It is heavy, it is incredibly stable, and it is virtually unsinkable. It can carry an entire family and all of their possessions. It can navigate the shallow, twisting channels of the swamp, and it is seaworthy enough to venture out into the coastal bays and even the open ocean. Your primary means of propelling the canoe is not a paddle, but a pole. The waters of your swamp world are shallow. You will stand in the canoe, a long 20-foot pole of cypress or pine in your hands. You will push against the muddy bottom, propelling the canoe forward with a silent, graceful, and powerful motion. To watch a skilled man pole a canoe through the swamp is to watch a kind of ballet. The canoe is the center of your daily life. You use it to fish. You use it to hunt. You use it to travel from your hammock to your garden plot. You use it to visit your neighbors in other villages. It is your connection to the wider world. As a child, you will learn to handle a canoe before you learn to walk. You will have your own, small canoe. You will spend your days exploring the watery world around your home, learning the secret pathways, the hidden channels, the language of the water. The dugout canoe is more than just a boat. It is a perfect expression of your people's relationship with their environment. It is a piece of the swamp itself, a great cypress tree, transformed by your skill and your ingenuity into a vessel that allows you to move freely through your watery world. It is the single most important tool of your survival, the beautiful, silent, and essential lifeline of your people. Part 2. The wet season, the time of thunder and water. The dry season, with its cool nights and its sun-drenched days, is a time of relative ease. But your world is a world of 2 seasons, not 4. And as the sun climbs higher in the sky, as the days grow longer and hotter, you know that the other season is coming. The wet season, the time of the great rains, of the thunder, of the rising water. The change is not a sudden one. It is a slow, inexorable build-up of heat and humidity. The air, which was once dry and pleasant, now becomes thick, heavy, and wet. It feels like you are breathing water. The sky, which was once a clear, brilliant blue, is now often a hazy, milky white. And then the thunderstorms begin. At first, they are a welcome relief. In the late afternoon, great, towering white clouds will build up in the sky. The world will grow dark. A cool wind will blow. And then the rain will come. A short, violent, and refreshing downpour that washes the dust from the air and cools the earth. But as the days go on, the thunderstorms become a daily occurrence. They become more frequent, more violent, more prolonged. The gentle, life-giving rain of the early wet season becomes a relentless, punishing assault. The world is transformed. The dry, sandy ground of your hammock becomes a muddy quagmire. The small, seasonal streams become raging torrents. The great, grassy prairie that surrounds your island home begins to disappear under a rising sheet of water. The swamp awakens in a new and more menacing way. The sounds of the day are now dominated by the rumble of distant thunder and the steady, drumming roar of the rain on the palmetto-thatched roof of your chickee. This is a time of turning inward once again. The great, expansive hunting and gathering expeditions of the dry season are over. Travel becomes difficult and dangerous. Your world shrinks once again to the small, muddy island of your hammock. You spend your days under the shelter of your chickee, watching the rain fall. The work is now focused on indoor tasks. The women will weave their baskets. The men will repair their tools. But the wet season is not a time of idleness. It is a time of different kinds of challenges, of different kinds of dangers. The rising water brings new predators. The constant dampness brings sickness. And the air itself comes alive with a new and maddening plague. The wet season is the time of the insects, and your life is about to become a living hell. If the dry season is defined by the hunt and the spring by the root, then the wet season is defined by one primary, all-consuming and maddening reality: the insects. With the coming of the constant rains and the standing water, the swamp explodes into a biblical plague of biting, stinging, and blood-sucking creatures, and there is no escape. The most numerous and the most relentless of your tormentors are the mosquitoes. They rise in great, whining clouds from every puddle, every pool of stagnant water. Their sheer numbers are difficult to comprehend. At dusk, the air is so thick with them that it seems to be a living, breathing entity. They are a constant, maddening presence. Their high-pitched, whining sound is the soundtrack to your evenings. They land on every exposed inch of your skin. You are in a perpetual state of slapping, of scratching. You have no window screens, no insect repellent in the modern sense. Your only defense is the smudge fire. You will build a small, smoky fire of damp wood and green leaves near your chickee. The thick, acrid smoke creates a protective barrier, a small, breathable space in the middle of the mosquito-infested world. Your evenings are spent huddled in the smoke, your eyes stinging, your throat raw, but grateful for the brief respite from the biting hordes. You will also coat your skin with a layer of alligator fat or bear grease. This provides some protection, but it also makes you a sticky, greasy mess. At night, you try to sleep under a covering of thin, woven cloth, a kind of primitive mosquito net, but the insects always find a way in. You wake up in the morning covered in 100 itchy, inflamed welts. And the mosquitoes are not just an annoyance, they are a deadly threat. They carry diseases like malaria and yellow fever, diseases for which you have no cure. Then there are the biting flies, the deer flies, the horse flies, the sand flies. They are larger than the mosquitoes, and their bite is not a pinprick, it is a painful, hot slash. They are particularly active during the day, making any kind of outdoor work a misery. And there are the chiggers, the ticks, the fire ants. The world is crawling with tiny things that want to bite you, to burrow into your skin, to feast on your blood. The constant biting, the constant itching, the constant threat of disease it takes a profound psychological toll. It can drive a person to the brink of madness. It is a form of low-level, continuous torture. You learn to live with it. You learn to ignore the constant itching. You learn to move through the world in a state of perpetual defensive motion. You learn to appreciate the small, simple miracle of a strong breeze that temporarily blows the insects away. The plague of insects is one of the great, unwritten hardships of your life in the swamp. It is a daily, miserable, and inescapable reality. It is a powerful reminder that in this world, the greatest threats are not always the large, dramatic predators like the alligator or the panther. Sometimes, the greatest threats are the smallest, most numerous, and most relentless ones. The wet season is a time of confinement and misery, a time of constant rain and relentless insects, but it is not a time of hunger. The swamp, in its flooded state, offers up a different kind of bounty, a different kind of harvest, and your people, with their profound and intimate knowledge of this watery world, know how to gather it. The hunt does not stop. It simply changes its form. You leave the land behind and you take to your canoe. The dugout canoe, your lifeline in the dry season, now becomes your entire world. It is your hunting platform, your fishing boat, your only means of navigating a world that has become a vast, shallow lake. The deer and the bear have retreated to the highest ground, the larger hammock islands. They are difficult to hunt now. Your focus shifts to the creatures of the water. Your primary prey is the fish. But you are not fishing with a simple hook and line. You are hunting the great prehistoric fish of the swamp. The gar, a long, armored fish with a snout full of sharp teeth. The bowfin, or mudfish, the large, succulent turtles. You hunt them with a spear, not a single-pointed spear, but a leister, a spear with 2 or 3 flexible, barbed prongs. You stand in the prow of your canoe, your father or your brother poling silently from the stern. You glide through the flooded forests, through the cypress domes, through the river of grass. You are looking for the telltale signs of your prey. A ripple on the surface of the water. The dark shape of a turtle sunning itself on a floating log. When you spot a large gar basking just below the surface, you must act with speed and precision. You strike with your leister. The barbed prongs grip the fish. The gar explodes into a frenzy of thrashing violence, its powerful body twisting and turning. It is a battle of strength and skill to haul the great fish into your canoe. The alligator hunt also continues into the wet season. The gators are more active now, their dark, menacing forms gliding through the flooded landscape. The nighttime hunt with torches is still the most effective method. The meat from the alligator is a vital source of protein. You also hunt the birds. The swamp is a paradise for wading bird churons, egrets, ibises. You will pole your canoe silently into their rookeries, the great, noisy bird cities in the tops of the cypress trees. You will use your blowgun, with its small, silent darts, to hunt the birds without disturbing the entire colony. And you will gather the eggs of the birds and the alligators, a rich and nutritious food source. The swamp, which to an outsider might look like a monotonous and unproductive wasteland, is, to you, a vast and varied larder. You know where to find the fish, the turtles, the birds. You know the habits of the alligator. You know which plants have edible roots that can be dug from the shallow water. Your knowledge is your key to survival. The swamp is not a hostile environment that you must conquer. It is a generous, if often dangerous, provider. You do not see it as an enemy. You see it as your home. As you pole your canoe back to your hammock at the end of the day, the boat heavy with garfish, with turtles, with a brace of herons, you are filled with a sense of profound competence. You are a creature of the swamp. You understand its rhythms, its secrets, its gifts. You have learned to live in harmony with this great, wet, and intensely alive world. And it, in turn, has provided you with everything you need. It is late summer. The wet season is at its peak. The world is a steamy, waterlogged greenhouse. And a new feeling is in the air. A strange, heavy, and ominous stillness. The usual afternoon thunderstorms have stopped. The air is unnaturally calm, unnaturally quiet. The sky to the east has taken on a strange, yellowish-grey colour. The elders of your clan look at the sky, and they look at each other. They have seen this sign before. They know what it means. The great, destructive spirit of the wind is coming. A hurricane is approaching. There is no weather satellite, no Doppler radar, no computer model to predict its path. There is only the ancient, accumulated knowledge of your people, the wisdom of 1,000 years of living in the path of these great storms. The preparations begin immediately. There is no sense of panic, but one of quiet, focused urgency. You cannot run from the storm. You cannot hide from it. There is nowhere to go. You must endure it. The women will gather the children and the elderly and bring them to the largest, most well-constructed chickee in the village, usually the home of the clan chief. They will gather supplies, fresh water, stored food, medicine. The men will work to secure the village. You will tie down the palmetto-thatched roofs of your homes with extra ropes made of strong vine. You will reinforce the wooden posts that support the structures. You will move your canoes to the most sheltered part of the hammock, tying them to the trunks of the great oak trees. And then you wait. The first signs of the storm's arrival are the great, sweeping bands of rain and wind. The sky grows dark. The wind begins to pick up, not the steady blow of a normal storm, but a violent, gusting wind that comes in great, shuddering blasts. The rain falls in horizontal sheets, so thick you cannot see the chickee next to yours. The sound is a rising, terrifying crescendo. The wind shrieks and howls through the trees. You can hear the great, groaning sound of trees being bent to their breaking point, the sharp crack of snapping branches. And then the storm surge begins. The hurricane is pushing a great wall of water in front of it. The level of the swamp, which is already high, begins to rise with an alarming speed. The water creeps up the sides of your hammock island. It floods your garden. It begins to swirl around the posts that support your home. You are now trapped on your small island, which is rapidly shrinking. As the eye of the hurricane approaches, the wind becomes a single, deafening and continuous roar, a sound of such immense and terrifying power that it seems to be the sound of the world being torn apart. You are all huddled together on the raised platform of the chickee. The wind is tearing at the thatched roof, ripping away the palm fronds one by one. The rain is driving into your home. The platform, which once seemed so high and so safe, is now just a few feet above the rising, churning brown water. You can feel the entire structure of your home shaking, groaning, straining against the incredible force of the wind. You are inside a drum that is being beaten by a furious, insane god. The fear is absolute. It is the fear of a creature that is about to be annihilated by a force of nature so vast and so powerful that it defies comprehension. You are a tiny, insignificant speck in the face of the storm's unimaginable rage. You do not pray with words. You pray with your entire being. You huddle together, a small, terrified knot of humanity, and you hold on. You hold on to each other. You hold on to the hope that the posts of your home will not break, that the roof will not be torn away, that the water will not rise high enough to swallow you whole. The hurricane rages for hours, a timeless, terrifying eternity. And then, as suddenly as it began, the wind begins to subside. The rain lessens. The water begins to recede. The storm has passed. You emerge from your battered, half-unroofed home into a world that is shattered, broken, and transformed. The great oak trees have been stripped of their leaves. Many have been toppled. The swamp is a churning chaos of debris. Your village has been devastated. Some of the smaller chickees have been completely destroyed. But you are alive. Your family is alive. Your people have survived. The work of rebuilding begins immediately. There is no time for despair. The community comes together. The fallen trees are cleared. The damaged homes are repaired. The shared, communal spirit of your people, which is the true source of your resilience, is reawakened. You have looked into the very eye of the great, destructive power of your world, and you have endured. You have been tested by the wind and the water, and you have not been broken. The hurricane has scoured your world clean, but it has not extinguished the stubborn, resilient, and deeply rooted flame of your people. Part 3. The fabric of life, culture, and belief. Your identity in this world is not a solitary, self-contained thing. You are not an individual in the stark, isolated sense of the modern world. To ask, "Who are you?" is not to ask for your personal name, but to ask for your people. You are, first and foremost, a member of your clan. The clan is the fundamental, indivisible building block of your society, the very bedrock of your existence. Your allegiance to it is absolute, your connection to it as vital and unconscious as the act of breathing. To be without a clan is to be less than human, a ghost adrift on the winds, with no anchor, no family, and no place in the sacred order of the world. Your society is structured around a clan system that is matrilineal, a concept so foundational it requires no explanation among your people. Your identity, your name, your inheritance, and your specific place in the intricate web of the world, it all flows to you from your mother. You are born into your mother's clan, and you will remain an inviolable member of it for your entire life. Your father, whom you love and respect, belongs to a different clan, and while he is a cherished part of your household, his lineage is not your own. Your most important relatives, the ones who hold authority over you and to whom you owe the greatest duty, are not on your father's side, but on your mother's. Her sisters are your other mothers, their children, your true siblings. Her brothers, your maternal uncles, are your primary teachers, your guides, and your disciplinarians. It is your uncle who will teach you the clan's sacred stories, who will instruct you in the arts of hunting and warfare, and whose stern hand will correct you when you stray. He is the guardian of your clan's legacy, and you are its future. The clans themselves are named for the great, powerful spirits that inhabit your world, each name carrying with it a unique history and a distinct personality. You might belong to the Panther clan, known for its stealthy hunters and fierce warriors, or perhaps the Bird clan, whose members are often swift messengers and keen-eyed observers. The Wind clan might be associated with powerful orators and shamans who can read the secrets of the sky, while the Bear clan is revered for its knowledge of healing plants and its immense strength. Each clan possesses its own origin stories, its own sacred objects carefully wrapped in ancient deerskin, and its own specific set of responsibilities to the community as a whole. The clans are the pillars that hold up the roof of your society, each one essential for the strength and balance of the whole structure. The clan is your family, your government, and your social safety net. It is the unwavering source of your identity, your security, and your strength. And the most important ceremony that binds these powerful clans together, the event that annually renews the community, the land, and the cosmos itself, is the green corn ceremony busk. The busk is held in the late summer, during the hot, heavy moon, when the first of the corn that you have so carefully planted in your small, fertile hammock gardens is ripe. Corn, for your people, is not merely a food. It is a sacred plant, a divine gift from the Creator, the physical embodiment of the corn mother who sacrificed herself so that her children might never know starvation. The green corn ceremony, therefore, is far more than a simple harvest festival. It is a multi-day, multifaceted, and profoundly sacred event of thanksgiving, of purification, of forgiveness, and of universal renewal. It is the new year, the high holy days, and the ultimate homecoming, all rolled into one. The entire village participates. Absence is unthinkable. The ceremony begins with a period of fasting and intense purification. The men of the village gather at the sweat house, a low, dome-shaped structure near the river. Inside, in the suffocating heat and darkness, they pour water over fire-heated rocks, creating a dense, purifying steam. As they sweat, they chant ancient songs, their voices a low rumble, sweating out the physical and spiritual impurities of the past year, the anger, the grief, the resentments. Meanwhile, the women undertake a parallel purification of the village itself. They scrub their homes, but this is more than simple cleaning. They are ritually cleansing their domestic spaces, preparing them for the new year. Most powerfully, they take all the old potterite cooking vessels and storage jars used throughout the previous year and deliberately break them. The sharp, percussive sounds of shattering clay echo through the village, a definitive and irreversible severing from the past. This theme of starting anew pervades every aspect of the ceremony. On this day, all the fires in the village are ceremonially extinguished by the medicine men. The hearth of every home, the central spark of family life, is allowed to go cold and dark. This symbolic act marks the death of the old year, a deliberate plunge into a liminal state between the past and the future. During this sacred time, old grudges must be forgiven. Men who have been in bitter dispute are brought before the clan elders and must formally declare their conflict resolved. A general amnesty is declared for all but the most heinous crimes, like murder. The community is collectively wiping its slate clean, consciously preparing itself for a new beginning, free from the accumulated baggage of the year that has passed. The central and most dramatic part of the ceremony is the lighting of the new fire. As the village sits in a reverent, fireless twilight, a chosen elixir, a medicine man of great power and purity, kneels in the center of the ceremonial square. Using a special, ceremonial fire drill, he begins the arduous task of creating new life from two pieces of wood. With rhythmic, focused precision, he works the drill, chanting, his entire being focused on this single sacred task. The community watches in hushed silence. A wisp of smoke appears, then a tiny glowing ember. This fragile spark is carefully nurtured in a bed of dry tinder, and as it bursts into flame, a collective sigh of awe and relief rises from the people. This new fire is a sacred thing, a symbol of the new year, of the renewal of life and the sun's enduring power. From this central holy fire, designated young men, swift runners, light torches and race through the village, delivering a cutting of the new fire to every home. One by one, the hearths are relit, and the village is brought back into the light, reborn and renewed. Then, at last, comes the feast. The first ears of the new corn, which no one has been permitted to touch or taste, are brought to the ceremonial square and roasted in the new fire. The aroma, a sweet, smoky perfume of promise and plenty, fills the air. The chief of the town or a revered clan elder will take the first bite of the roasted corn, a solemn act of communion that formally opens the harvest season. Only after he has eaten can the rest of the village partake. Then, a joyous explosion of celebration erupts. The entire community will feast together, a magnificent meal of fresh corn, venison stew, squash, beans, and all the bounty the land has provided. It is a meal of incredible joy and overwhelming gratitude, a vibrant celebration of the generosity of the earth and the successful renewal of the community. The green corn ceremony is also a time of exuberant celebration through dancing, singing, and games. The days are filled with activity. The men will play a rough and often violent stickball game. This is far more than a simple sport. It is called the little brother of war. Teams are formed along clan lines, and the game is a ritualized and contained expression of the rivalries and aggressions that naturally exist between them. Using small webbed sticks, the players attempt to hurl a small deerskin ball against a post. The rules are few, and the play is a chaotic, swirling melee of bodies. It is a spectacle of immense pride and physical prowess, a way to prove the strength of one's clan, while ultimately reinforcing the unity of the whole town. In the evenings, the entire village gathers to dance around the sacred fire. The men lead a stomp dance, their feet pounding the earth in a steady, hypnotic rhythm. The women, with turtle shell shakers filled with pebbles tied to their legs, provide a cascading, percussive response to the men's calls. The songs are ancient, the call and response chants telling the stories of creation, of great heroes, of the sacred corn itself. The circular dance, moving counterclockwise around the fire, represents the great, cyclical nature of the world. The busk is, without question, the most important social and religious event of your year. It is the mechanism by which your society endures. It is a time when the community comes together to heal its wounds, to settle its disputes through forgiveness, and to reaffirm its most deeply held values of kinship, reciprocity, and balance. It is a time when you are powerfully reminded that you are all connected, that the health and well-being of the individual depends entirely on the health and well-being of the whole. As you participate in the great dance on the final night, your body moving in perfect rhythm with the drums and the hundreds of others around you, your heart is full with the joy of the new corn and the promise of the new year. You feel the presence of your ancestors in the ancient songs. You see the strength of your clan in the faces of your relatives, and you feel the warmth of the new fire that connects all your homes. It is in this moment that you feel the most profound sense of belonging. You are a member of your family. You are a member of your clan. You are a member of your people. And you are all a vital, breathing part of the great, sacred, and ever-renewing cycle of the world. Your survival in this watery world depends on a toolkit that is as unique and as specialized as the environment itself. Your tools are not made of iron or steel. They are made from the materials that the swamp provides, from wood, from bone, from shell, from stone. And they are a testament to the ingenuity and the adaptability of your people. Your most important tool, after the canoe itself, is the pole. You are a master of poling a canoe, a skill that is far more effective in your shallow, intricate world than paddling. Your pole is a long, straight and lightweight shaft of cypress or pine, up to 20 feet long. You stand in the stern of the canoe, and you push against the muddy bottom, propelling the canoe forward with a silent, graceful, and incredibly efficient motion. You can navigate the tightest of channels, the thickest of grass beds, with a precision that would be impossible with a paddle. The pole is an extension of your body, your connection to the world beneath the water. Your primary fishing tool is the leister, or fish spear. It is not a single-pointed spear. It is a more complex and effective tool. The shaft is a long piece of hardwood. The head is a central, sharp point, made of bone or garfish jaw, flanked by two flexible, curved prongs of wood. When you strike a fish, the prongs spread apart and then clamp down, trapping the fish securely. It is a kind of primitive but highly effective spring-loaded trap. For hunting the small game of the hammocks, the squirrels, the rabbits, the birds you use, the blowgun. It is a long, straight tube of hollowed-out river cane. The darts are thin slivers of wood, fletched with thistle down. The tip is often coated with a poison made from a plant or an animal venom. The blowgun is a silent, accurate, and deadly weapon, perfect for hunting in the dense forest without disturbing other game. Your cutting tools are made from the materials around you. You do not have metal axes. To fell a great cypress tree, you use a combination of fire and a heavy celt, or axe head, made from the hard, dense shell of a conch or a whelk, which you have acquired through trade with the coastal peoples. The shell is painstakingly ground against a rock to create a sharp, durable edge. For finer cutting, for skinning a deer or butchering a turtle, your knives are made from the sharp flakes of chert, a type of stone found in certain parts of your world, or from the sharp, serrated teeth of a shark. The women have their own specialized toolkit. For processing the kunti root, they use a grating board made from a plank of wood embedded with the sharp teeth of a garfish. For farming their small gardens, they use a hoe made from the shoulder blade of a deer or a large, heavy shell. And for sewing, for weaving, for all of their intricate craftwork, they have a set of delicate and precise tools made from bone and shell, needles, awls, scrapers, and polishers. Your toolkit is a perfect reflection of your world. It is a world without metal, but it is not a world without technology. It is a world where ingenuity, a deep knowledge of natural materials, and skilled craftsmanship are more valuable than any raw material. Every tool you own, you have likely made yourself. You know its weight, its balance, its strengths, its weaknesses. It is not a disposable, mass-produced object. It is a personal and often beautiful creation, an object that is both a tool and a work of art. It is an expression of your ability to take the raw stuff of the swamp, the wood, the bone, the shell, and transform it into the means of your own survival. The world you see with your eyes, the tangible reality of towering cypress trees, sun-drenched clearings, and the murky, life-giving waters of the swamp is only a small part of the true reality. It is merely the surface layer, the visible skin of a much deeper, more complex, and infinitely more powerful cosmos. You know from the first stories you heard as a child that you live in a world that is saturated with spiritual power, a world that is inhabited by a vast and complex array of spirits, of ghosts, of supernatural beings, both benevolent and malevolent. Your physical survival, the daily struggle for food and shelter, is important, but it is secondary. Your spiritual survival, your ability to navigate this unseen, ever-present world with respect and wisdom, is paramount. To fail in this endeavor is to invite sickness, misfortune, and a deeper kind of death than the mere cessation of breath. Your worldview is a complex tapestry of beliefs, stories, and rituals, woven together over countless generations. At the summit of this spiritual cosmos, you believe in a powerful creator, a grandfather spirit who set the world in motion, who shaped the mountains and filled the rivers. But this creator, having completed his great work, is now a distant, almost abstract figure. He does not meddle in the daily affairs of his creation. Therefore, your daily spiritual life, the prayers you whisper and the offerings you make, is focused on the host of more immediate and accessible spirits who share the world with you. The universe is not empty. It is a crowded, bustling place, and one must walk through it with care and attention. Every element of your environment possesses a spirit and a consciousness. Every animal, every plant, every stone, every river has a spirit that must be acknowledged. The great panther, the shadow walker, who moves with a silence that is its own form of magic, is not just a predator. He is a powerful spiritual being who can teach the lessons of stealth and patience. The mighty bear, who digs for roots and knows the secrets of the forest floor, is the keeper of medicine knowledge, a great healer whose wisdom can be sought. The wise owl, with its unblinking eyes and nocturnal flight, is a messenger, a being that moves between the world of light and the world of darkness, often carrying portents or warnings. The cunning alligator, the ancient master of the swamp, embodies a patient, terrifying power, a reminder of the deep, hidden forces that lie just beneath the surface of things. These beings are not just animals. They are powerful spiritual entities, your elder brothers, your ancestors, in a world that was old, long before your people first walked it. You treat them with a profound and instinctual respect, with a reverence born of understanding your place in the sacred order. When you hunt a deer, you are not just taking its life to fill your belly, you are entering into a sacred pact. Before the hunt, you offer a prayer, asking the spirit of the deer people for the great gift of one of their own. After the kill, you whisper a prayer of thanks directly to the animal's spirit, promising to honor its sacrifice. Every part of the animal is used, the hide for clothing, the bones for tools, the sinew for thread. To waste any part of it would be a grievous insult to the spirit that gave its life so that you might live. You also believe in a host of other, more mysterious beings who occupy the spaces between. The little people, who are said to live in the deep forests and the rocky hillsides, can be either helpful or mischievous. They are small, man-like beings who can lead a lost hunter to safety or, if offended, tangle his fishing lines and lead him astray in the woods. One must always be respectful in their domain, perhaps leaving a small offering of a bead or a feather to ensure their goodwill. In the deep, dark pools of the swamp and the eddies of the great river live the water spirits, ancient and powerful beings who can be angered by those who pollute their waters or take too many fish. Their wrath can manifest as sudden floods or unexplained drownings. And most intimately, there are the ghosts of the dead, who can linger in this world if their passing was sudden or violent, or if their burial rites were not properly observed. They can become a source of trouble for the living, causing sickness, whispering unsettling things on the wind, or creating a palpable sense of sorrow and fear around the places they haunt. They must be properly appeased and encouraged to complete their journey to the land of the dead. The most important human figure in your spiritual world is the medicine maker, the elixir. He or she is a man or a woman who, through intense training, personal sacrifice, and a special, intimate connection to the spirit world, serves as the bridge between the physical and the sacred. The elixir is your doctor, your priest, your psychologist, and your historian, all rolled into one. To become an elixir is not a career choice. It is a calling, a destiny revealed through powerful visions, near-death experiences, or recurring dreams that mark an individual as one chosen by the spirits. When you are sick, you go to the elixir. Your sickness is not seen as a random malfunction of the body, but as a spiritual imbalance. It is a symptom of a deeper problem. Your illness might be caused by the intrusion of a malevolent spirit, sent by an enemy or drawn to you by some misdeed. It could be the result of breaking a sacred taboo, respecting an animal, trespassing on a holy site, or failing to perform a necessary ritual. Or, perhaps most terrifyingly, it could be caused by soul loss, a condition where a part of your own spiritual essence has become detached or stolen, leaving you vulnerable and incomplete. The elixir will perform a healing ceremony, a powerful and dramatic ritual designed to address the spiritual root of the illness. He will use a variety of potent tools, each with its own sacred purpose. He will use the sacred herbs, the saps, roots, and leaves of the plants that were given to your people by the Creator specifically to cure their ills. These might be burned as a purifying incense, their smoke carrying prayers to the spirit world, or brewed into a tea for the patient to drink. He will use the power of song, chanting the ancient, holy songs that have been passed down through generations of healers. These songs are not mere music, they are vibrational keys, their melodies and words having the power to call helpful spirits, to create a shield of protection, and to drive away the sickness. And he will use the power of his own breath, the ultimate expression of life force. After hours of chanting and prayer, the elixir might place his mouth near the afflicted part of your body and, with a great exhalation, blow the sickness away, while in the next breath, blowing the healing power of the spirits into your body. The elixir is also the keeper of the most sacred objects of your people, the clan medicine bundles, known as the Isala. Each clan has its own sacred bundle, a collection of holy object-specific bird feathers, uniquely coloured stones, small carved figures, ancient tools, and other items whose stories are lost to all but the elixir. These bundles have been passed down for countless generations, their contents added to by medicine makers who had particularly powerful visions. They are the physical embodiment of the clan's spiritual power, its history, its unique identity, and its covenant with the spirit world. Wrapped in many layers of ancient, supple deerskin, the bundles are objects of immense reverence and are opened only during the most important and solemn ceremonies, such as the green corn dance or in times of great crisis. To witness the opening of an Isala is to witness the living history of your clan, to feel the tangible presence of your ancestors and the spirits who have guided them. Dreams and visions are another powerful and direct link to the spirit world. A dream is not a random firing of the sleeping mind. It is a direct communication from the spirits, a journey that your soul takes while your body rests. A dream can be a warning of a coming danger, a prophecy of a future event, a piece of practical guidance, or a sacred teaching. A hunter might dream of a specific trail leading to a clearing where a great buck stands waiting, and he will follow that path the next morning. A woman might dream of a specific herb and will know that it is the cure for her child's fever. You will pay close attention to your dreams, discussing them with your family, and if a dream is particularly powerful or disturbing, you will ask an elder or an elixir to help you understand its deeper meaning. Ultimately, your spiritual life is not something that is separate from your daily existence, a set of beliefs to be contemplated for an hour a week. It is a part of everything you do, every moment of every day. When you plant your corn, you are not just placing a seed in the dirt. You are participating in the sacred cycle of death and rebirth, and you offer a prayer to the spirit of the corn to ensure its growth. When you hunt a deer, you are engaging in a holy pact with the animal world. When you strip the bark from a birch tree to build a canoe, you first ask the tree's permission and thank it for its gift. You are constantly in a state of prayer, of awareness, of a deep and abiding respect for the sacred powers that permeate the world around you. It is a continuous dialogue with the cosmos. This is what gives your life its profound meaning, its richness, its depth. You are not just a creature of flesh and blood, a clever animal struggling for physical survival in a hostile, unfeeling world of dead matter. You are a spiritual being, living within a sacred and meaningful cosmos. You are a small but vital part of a universe that is alive with power, with beauty, with mystery, and with consciousness. Your life is a journey not just from birth to death, but a sacred walk through a world teeming with spirits, a world where every action has a spiritual consequence and every breath is a prayer. And so, the great, wet, and rhythmic cycle of the year in the southeastern swamps comes to a close. We have journeyed through a world that is profoundly different from any other on the continent. A world of water and islands, of cypress and palm, of alligators and herons. A world that demanded a unique and brilliant set of adaptations from the people who called it home. The life we have shared was not one of great, sweeping migrations across open plains, nor was it the settled, hierarchical life of the coastal chiefs. It was a life of intimate, small-scale navigation, of moving through a watery labyrinth in a silent dugout canoe. It was a life of incredible ingenuity, of turning poisonous roots into daily bread, of building airy, elegant homes from the leaves of a single tree. This was a culture forged in the crucible of the swamp, a place that many outsiders would see as a hostile, uninhabitable wasteland. But for the people who lived there, it was a place of immense abundance, a provider, a protector. The very impenetrability of the swamp, its hidden waterways, its thick vegetation, its dangerous creatures, became a fortress that protected them from their enemies. And it was this fortress that would allow their descendants, the people who would become known as the Seminole and the Miccosukee, to stage one of the most remarkable and resilient campaigns of resistance in all of American history. As other tribes were being defeated and removed from their lands, they retreated deep into the heart of the Everglades, into a world that the American army could not conquer. They used their profound knowledge of the swamp to fight a guerrilla war for decades. They were never officially defeated. They never signed a final peace treaty. To this day, they call themselves the unconquered people. Tonight, as you lie in your dry, comfortable, and insect-free bed, think of the people who made their home in the great, wet heart of the land. Think of the woman, standing in the shallow water, her hands skillfully weaving a basket from palmetto fronds. Think of the hunter, poling his canoe silently through a cypress dome, his eyes searching for the telltale ripple of a garfish. Think of the family, huddled together on the raised platform of their chickee, listening to the terrifying and magnificent roar of a hurricane, their home and their lives held together by a few sturdy posts and a deep, abiding faith. Their world whispers to us of a different kind of strength. Not the strength of conquest, but the strength of resilience. Not the strength of domination, but the strength of adaptation. It is a story of a people who learned to live in a world that was always trying to swallow them, and who, through their courage, their ingenuity, and their profound understanding of their home, managed to remain unconquered. It is a story that is as deep, as mysterious, and as intensely alive as the great swamp itself.